Hello, and thank you for choosing to tune in to another YouTube edition of our Read Aloud, the one and only Ivan by Catherine Applegate. Today we are going to read pages 43 through 50 together. We begin by learning some more about Julia, which is a little girl who becomes good friends with our Ivan. Page 43. Julia. Like the pebble children, Julia is a child, but that, after all, is not her fault. While her father George cleans the mall each night, Julia sits by my domain. She could sit anywhere she wants, by the carousel, in the empty food court, on the bleachers coated in sawdust. But I'm not bragging when I say that she always chooses to sit with me. I think it's because we both love to draw. Sarah, Julia's mother, used to help clean the mall, but when she got sick and grew pale and stooped, Sarah stopped coming. Every night Julia offers to help George, and every night he says firmly, "Homework, Julia. The floors will just get dirty again." Homework, I have discovered, involves a sharp pencil and thick books and long sighs. And long sighs. That kind of tells you that Ivan thinks that homework is boring, right? I enjoy chewing pencils. I am sure I would excel at homework. Sometimes Julia dozes off, and sometimes she reads her books, but mostly she draws pictures and talks about her day. I don't know why people talk to me, but they often do. Perhaps it's because they think I can't understand them. Or perhaps it's because I can't talk back. Julia likes science and art. She doesn't like Lila Burpee, who teases her because her clothes are old, and she does like Deshaun Williams, who teases her too, but in a nice way, and she would like to be a famous artist when she grows up. Sometimes Julia draws me. I am an elegant fellow in her pictures, with her silver back gleaming like moon on moss. I never look angry the way I do on the fading billboard by the highway. I always look a bit sad, though. Page 46, drawing Bob. I love Julia's pictures of Bob. She draws him flying across the page, a blur of feet and fur. Remember, Bob is their dog friend who is homeless. She draws him motionless, peeking out behind a trash can or the soft hill of my belly. Sometimes in her drawings, Julia gives Bob wings or a lion's mane. Once she gave him a tortoise shell. But the best thing she ever gave him wasn't a drawing. Julia gave Bob his name. For a long time, no one knew what to call Bob. Now and then, a mall worker would try to approach him with a tidbit. "Here, doggy," they would call, holding out a French fry. "Come on, Pooch," they'd say. "How about a little piece of sandwich?" But he would always vanish into the shadows before anyone could get too close. One afternoon, Julia decided to draw the little dog curled up in the corner of my domain. First, she watched him for a long time, chewing on her thumbnail. I could tell she was looking at him the way an artist looks at the world when she's trying to understand it. Finally, she grabbed her pencil and set to work. When she was finished, she held up the page. There he was, the tiny, big-eared dog. He was smart and cunning, but his gaze was wistful. Smart and cunning. Take that in. How is she describing him? And his gaze was wistful. Okay. If you are wistful, have you heard that before? You might think of it as maybe he looked wise in a way, but yet kind of relaxed. Not something that looks stressed or worried. Okay. Under the picture were 3 bold, confident marks circled in black. I was pretty certain it was a word, even though I couldn't even read it. Julia's father peered over her shoulder. "That's him exactly," he said. Nodding, he pointed to the circled marks. "I didn't realize his name was Bob," he said. "Me neither," said Julia, and she smiled. "I had to draw him first." Reminds me of how some of you like to sketch or draw before you actually write to organize your ideas. So that's how Julia is, as she's thinking too. She wanted to draw Bob, and then she felt like his name came out through her drawing. Page 48. There's a neat picture of Julia there. Bob and Julia. Bob will not let humans touch him. He says their scent upsets his digestion. But every now and then I see him sitting at Julia's feet. Her fingers move gently, just behind his right ear. Those of you who are following along in your book, that picture shows Bob as being so tiny. I don't know about you, but when I was visualizing this story, which is what good readers do as they read, they almost see a book like a movie in their mind. I pictured Bob so much bigger. Okay? But in that picture, they're showing him rather tiny in comparison to Julia. Page 49, Mac. Usually Mac leaves after the last show, but tonight he is in his office working late. When he's done, he stops by my domain and stares at me for a long time while he drinks from a brown bottle. George joins him, broom in hand, and Mac says the things he always says. "How about that game last night?" And "Business has been slow, but it'll get better, you'll see." And "Don't forget to empty the trash." And remember that George is Julia's dad, and he does the custodial work in the mall. Mac glances over at the picture Julia's drawing. "What are you making?" he asks. "It's for my mom," Julia says. "It's a flying dog." She holds up her drawing, eyeing it critically. She likes airplanes and dogs. Mac murmurs, sounding unconvinced. He looks at George. "How's the wife doing anyway?" About the same," George says. "She has good days and bad days." "Yeah, don't we all?" Mac says. Mac starts to leave, then pauses. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out a crumpled green bill, and presses it into George's hand. "Here," says with a shrug, "buy the kids some more crayons." Mac is already out the door before George can yell, "Thanks." So Mac shows some kindness there, right, and giving him a little extra money, or what we might think of as a tip, so he can buy her some brand new crayons. Okay. Thank you for reading with me today. Don't forget to take care of your reading response assignment, and I hope you have a great night. Sending love and hugs to all. Miss you. Bye-bye.